And we're live.
Yes. Welcome in to the Tim McKernan Show. It is the Pick Six podcast on the Inside STL, TMA STL Podcast Network from the HomeLoanExpert.com studios. I am your host, Timothy Michael McKernan. And if you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you may be watching, there's Jackson in the upper left-hand corner, Gangster Pete in the middle. I am on the top right. There is producer Joe, no longer showing his face, just like G Unit, but right there in the center at the bottom is Ken Strode, who goes by Ned Reynolds on the broadcast. And major developments on the Pick Six podcast from the HomeLoanExpert.com studios as Iggy is 13-5. 13-5. And at least as far as record goes, I don't know about dollars, but as far as record goes, Ken Strode is in first place and he is killing it right now. Iggy, how do you feel?
Well, I feel good about the 13-5, but it doesn't matter anymore, does it? I mean, we're going by money, so
That's right.
Your money lead's even bigger.
Really?
So, yeah, you got a total of $750 on the year.
I thought you don't have more than FG Unit?
No, I got 510. Yeah,
510. Oh, then I guess
for those of you on the standings, Iggy is 13-5, G Unit 12-6, Jackson 11-7, I'm 11-7, producer Joe is 9-7, and Gangster Pete is the only one below 500. He is 6-11. Gangster Pete, you went all in on the Thursday night football Chiefs and Chargers last week, and it didn't kill you, but it didn't really help you. You went 3-3.
Yeah, my picks that I had ready to go originally went 4-2, but I decided to have some fun with the Thursday night game.
Go all in.
Yeah, why not? We're 6-11. Can't go down much further.
Yeah, I mean, this Iggy's it's 72% success. The podcast as a whole is giving people positive return on investment, not something we've ever done. So I wouldn't tell you it's a bunch of sharps here, but the records speak for themselves as the players are like a combined 64%, if my math is correct, against the spread so far, which is startling. Actually,
Can I say one thing?
Can I say one thing? You'd like to issue a statement.
Yeah, because going into last week, I think I was 5-0 on my golf picks, maybe 6-1, something like that on my golf picks. And last week I went, I think, 1-2 on my golf picks, but I did go 3-0 on my teasers.
So there is an update on how Iggy has gotten to 13-5. You love the teaser. I imagine the teaser will be coming back for this week's.
There's 5 of them.
Oh, well, there you go, Joe. Pack a lunch. There's going to be a lot of teasing going on. Before we go to Iggy's series of teasers, and he does have the tee box, I'd like to tell the audience about the HomeLoanExpert.com. Ryan Kelly, he's online at HomeLoanExpert.com. If you're looking to buy a home, you can get pre-approved right now at the HomeLoanExpert.com and lock in an interest rate. If you're worried rates will go up, lock in that interest rate. So when you're ready to buy, everything is good to go, and you can get that rate with the HomeLoanExpert.com. Studio sponsor, the Tim McKernan Show, going back to our inception, which will be 5 years in 8 days since the very first podcast. And, of course, James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. He is my insurance agent. I would like to recommend him to you. His offices are in Webster Groves. He has a great staff, and I made the switch, and I'm so happy that I did because they really are the best. There is a difference when you have that kind of customer service. It's James Carlton, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. Jackson, could you tell the people about Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies?
Absolutely. I love working with Mark Hanna. It's been such a great part of my life recently to think about that I'm set up really well right now for my future. I don't have to worry about it. And all it was a couple quick phone calls with Mark Hanna, explaining some stuff, getting some documents together. And now I'm in such a better position. And I know I have that peace of mind that I know I have a guy in my corner like Mark Hanna, who's such a wonderful guy. I love talking with Mark. I know Joe has worked with him. Doug's worked with him. A ton of the listeners have worked with Mark Hanna. And I think I speak for all of them when I say that having someone like Mark Hanna with you is the best possible way to save money. He's simple as that. He's so intelligent and he's such a great. So if you don't have anybody, if you're just throwing money into a savings account, don't do that. Instead, call Mark Hanna. And if you already have somebody, consider making the switch over to Mark because he's the best in the business.
314-889-0503 or go online at evergreenstl.com. It's Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Well, Iggy, look at you leading and also having the best week last week. Is that correct? 4-2 last week?
Joe's interrupting you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, producer Joe on Twitter at @ProdJoe.
Hi, Joe.
Jackson had the best week.
Oh, really?
Yep, he was 4-2 plus 175.
How about that?
Ken was 4-2 plus 125.
All right. Well, Jackson, you get the tee box here.
Sweet. I got all dogs. We're going all dogs.
You're following the Wizards playbook.
We're going all dogs. We are taking the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, that is, plus 3.5. We are taking Houston plus 2.5. Houston Texans plus 2.5. The Panthers plus 3. We're taking Virginia Tech, who plays tonight, I believe, plus 2.5. And finally, Georgia State plus 2 against Coastal Carolina.
All right. Well, one more time for the ladies in the balcony.
Yeah. Arizona Cardinals plus 3.5. The Houston Texans plus 2.5. The Carolina Panthers plus 3. Virginia Tech, the Hokies, plus 2.5. And Georgia State plus 2 against Coastal Carolina.
All right. There it is. Project
all dogs.
All right. Iggy, is Iggy next on the box, producer Joe?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. It's teaser time.
Boy, Jackson, if you think that the favorites may only win by a point, you'd almost think you'd want to play the money line there on those two games.
Hey, you can die by the hook and live by the hook, and I'm going to live with it.
All right, buddy. All right, I'm making it easy. I did put these together in like 10 minutes. But these two teams are going to be in every teaser.
Oh, so this is big here. What do we got?
Yeah, this is one. Obviously, if one of them loses, I lose all 5. San Diego plus 3 versus Jacksonville, and Tennessee minus 0.5 versus Florida.
Okay.
Those two are going to be in all 5. The first one, you can put Minnesota plus 4 versus Detroit. USC, Oregon over 60.5. Miami and Buffalo over 42.5. And Michigan minus 7 versus Maryland.
Yep.
So again, San Diego plus 3 over plus Jacksonville. Tennessee minus 0.5 versus Florida. They are in all 5. And then Minnesota plus 4 versus Detroit. USC, Oregon over 60.5. Miami, Buffalo over 42.5. And Michigan minus 7 versus Maryland. Oh, I'm sorry. One of my locks is going to be a teaser. So my other play, my 5th play, I'm going to the LPGA Tour, the Northwest Arkansas Championship.
What a startling moment in the history of the Pick Six podcast.
It's the only golf I can play. I mean, the President's Cup, I must have went up because I thought it was USA to win the singles matches on day 4. I thought was at 260 yesterday, and then I looked today. It's like minus 335. So I don't know. But anyway, Minjee Lee to finish in the top 10 plus 160. Minjee Lee top 10 plus 160.
Well, the first Minjee Lee play is in Pick Six podcast history, I believe, unless you've gone down this road before.
No, I usually go with Brooke Henderson or Lydia Ko.
All right. Well, congratulations on breaking the mold here of the Pick Six podcast, making history. Just a super progressive gambling podcast. Who's up next?
You.
I went 3-3. Oh, I'm up next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I love this play. Tennessee, Florida. I'm buying a 0.5 point to get it down to 62 over. I think that thing is going off. I'm looking forward to watching that game. That game has significance for the first time in a while, and I think Tennessee might be legit, but I think they'll score something in the 40s, and I think Florida scored something in the 20s, and that's my reasoning for it, at least as far as floors go. Also going over again, it's Square Festival. That scares me. I'm buying a 0.5 point on the Maryland, Michigan over. buying a half point on the Maryland, Michigan over, and that gets me down to 64. So that's minus 120. Maryland, Michigan over. Keep an eye on these Wolverines. They're scoring some points this year, and that thing is a force. Going to the NFL. This, I am anxious to see how this one plays out. We were talking about this in a commercial break on 101 ESPN. The Colts are only getting 5.5 against the Kansas City Chiefs. I would imagine the public G Unit. Do you have any information on this where the public's money is? I would imagine it's all over the Chiefs.
That is correct. It's not the biggest public money bet this week, but it's one of it. I think it's number 3, 86% on the
Wow.
Chiefs.
So there's some bigger than that. There's two bigger than that.
Bengals and Panthers, surprisingly.
And people are on the Bengals, I assume?
People are on the Bengals. That's correct. Against the Jets.
Yeah. And what's the other one?
Panthers at home against the Saints. I'm actually on the Panthers in mine, but I don't understand why the public's on them so much.
Interesting. All right, fair enough. So I'm going with the Colts, and I'm buying a half point to get that up to 6 points against the Chiefs. So that's minus 120. Here's a game I really like and I'm confused by, which means I must be wrong, but the Broncos are getting 2 points at home. So that surprised me. Did I just hear somebody say Jackson?
Yep. This is happening again.
What's going on?
This happened when G Unit kept hearing Steve Harvey. Where did that come from?
But that was somebody talking to you.
I know. I don't know. I'm in my studio.
Yeah, I can speak to the studio. It's a small little closet. Huh.
This is so weird.
Broncos +2 against the 49ers, and they're at home. And then I'm going with the Jaguars +7 at the Chargers. Broncos at home +2, Jaguars on the road +7. So my 5 plays are in. Who's up next? At Producer Joe.
Unit.
G Unit.
I'm going to start with Arizona +3.5 at home against the Rams. Is that Jackson? Were you on that one?
Oh yeah.
I do not like that aspect of the pick, but I will say that game, the Arizona game this past weekend, I was on Arizona and the over. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the things that I needed to happen to win both those bets, it's just unbelievable. I needed 2 2-point conversions, right? And then they had to score 2 consecutive touchdowns, go to overtime. The only way to get the over and the Cardinals to cover was a pick 6 or a fumble recovery for a touchdown by Arizona, and it fucking happened. So that's a pretty highlight of my.
Well, we're all happy for you.
So I'm taking Arizona +3.5, taking the Jets +6. As I said before, Cincinnati is the number 1 public betting favorite at 89%. But then I'm going to go with the public with this Carolina +3 at home against the Saints. I don't know why the public's on them. I thought this was kind of a little niche bet that I researched and found, but I guess everyone else did too. Number 4, I'm going to go tonight, Pittsburgh +4. I can't think of any team that has won more bets for me than Tomlin when he is a more than 3-point underdog. I mean, all of his games are decided by a field goal or less, it seems like. And then at number 5, Pittsburgh team over tonight at 17.5. Both of the Browns' previous opponents have allowed significantly more than 17.5 points. So I'll take the over. And that's
windy night tonight, G Unit. Windy night.
That's at +125, by the way. +125 on that over 17.5. Yeah, I don't know if the wind really affects this offensive game. These quarterbacks are kind of duds anyways.
It's in Pittsburgh, right?
No.
Cleveland.
Oh, that's good.
So that's my 5.
All right.
Pittsburgh has a windy end zone.
Oh, yeah, they do. You're right. What do we got next, Producer Joe?
Pete.
Must have been a rough week for Producer Joe.
I was 2 and 3.
Great buy low opportunity for everyone out there.
On Jackson Pete?
Great buy low opportunity for everyone out there. I'm starting to feel a little better about what I see on the board, so we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go again. This first game is tomorrow night in what used to be the Carrier Dome. I'm on the Syracuse Orange -9 against Virginia. Next, we go to Saturday. Oh, by the way, I'm buying a half point on these first 4 games. So Q's -9. First game. Second, I'm taking, this kind of pains me, but I'm taking Kansas -7 against Duke. Jalen Daniels is awesome, and he kind of reminds me of Brad Smith. Next, I got Arkansas +3 in Dallas against A&M. And then I'm taking Oregon State +7 in Corvallis Saturday night against USC. And then my fifth pick will be a teaser for the NFL. I'm taking the Eagles -0.5 and the Chiefs +0.5.
Gangster Pete is in the books, and I guess that means Producer Joe is on the team.
Yep. All right. Tonight, I've got Mitch Trubisky over half interception. So he throws one pick, you win -135. Also tonight, I am on Coastal Carolina -2 at Georgia State. I am on the Browns team total over 21.5. That is +1, or that's +100. And then I am on the over of Clemson and Wake over 55, and the under 48.5 of Arkansas and A&M.
The under on Arkansas and A&M. All right, Producer Joe. He is in the books. Before we go to our locks, let me tell the people about Munganast, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota, fixing up our cars right now as we speak. Even if you didn't get your car from Munganast, get it serviced at Munganast or repaired at Munganast, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota. And if you're in the market for a new car or a pre-owned car, go shopping right now at stlouisacura.com or go online at altontoyota.com. It's Munganast, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota. And, of course, the great people at Design Air Heating and Cooling. That's Seth Goldcamp and Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. It's going to get hot again here on Saturday. Temperature is expected to be in the upper 80s. If you run into air conditioning problems, go to designairservice.com and work with Seth Goldcamp. You click on the Book Now tab, and they'll have a service technician out there quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Iggy to reveal his lock of the week.
I think it's G-Unit.
Jackson.
Or, I'm sorry, it's Jackson.
Oh, Jackson, I apologize.
All
Jackson,
good.
what do you got?
I'm going to take, and I really feel good about this, but I'm going to buy the half point. I'm taking Jacksonville Jaguars +7.5 against the LA Chargers.
Buying the half point.
Yeah, just in case I don't want to push on it, so I'll take.
Do you know what your thoughts on that?
I mean, that is a really funny thing to do. I guess it's fake money, though.
Jackson,
Well, I'm getting nervous
now I hope that the 20-13 and his buying of the half point is what wins, and he will skull fuck us all next Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. This is exactly what's going to happen. I'm texting Unit immediately.
I was looking around the board. I'm like, who's that going to bother the most? And I thought, I think G Unit will probably be irritated by it, so I'll go to him, even though I can't.
He's the biggest critic of my picks, and I don't get why.
No, I mean, I like your NBA picks, but it's not NBA season right now, so
Coming soon.
That was passive aggressive. Ken Strode, ladies and gentlemen. It's teaser time one last time.
Yeah, I'm getting worried because San Diego +3 is in all of my picks, and you and Jackson both like Jacksonville.
Yeah, but I mean, it's getting the touchdown, or
Yeah, but
as the case might be.
I mean, it's just fucking goofy. I've never.
G-Unit can't let it go. He can't let Jackson buying the half.
If they lose by a touchdown, which is people lose by touchdowns all the time, then I push. But if I buy the half point, I still win.
I've just always thought at least this is the way that I viewed it. The half point is to save your bet with a push, not to get a half point to avoid the push. Yeah, I see what you're doing. I see it.
I love watching Gangster Pete when we have these little sidebars.
I really enjoy this.
By the way, Tim, I don't know if you see this in the chat comments, but Dustin Shapiro has asked a question of the board.
Sure, no, it's a great question. My father-in-law is curious which way you boys are leaning on those Michigan State Spartans versus Minnesota. Sup, Pete? It's great to hear from a gentleman by the name of Dustin Shapiro. Anybody feel strongly on Sparty and the Gophers?
I lean Mini.
You lean Mini?
I like that run game.
I don't have a take.
I don't have a take. But I really do like his father-in-law. I know that. Bill,
Get those Michigan State Spartans up to 3.5.
buy it up. 3. Buy it up to 3.5. That's our official position.
Yeah,
Dotem.
buy it up.
All right, Iggy, you're concerned about the Chargers bet.
Well, nah, whatever. I said I didn't put much effort into it.
Are we still waiting for this pick?
Well, I mean,
Unit's busting my balls.
yeah, he's still on buying the half. Yeah, my final lock is my final teaser. Obviously, San Diego +3s in there, Tennessee -0.5, and I just think this is going to be a slugfest. I hope I'm not wrong, but I got Ole Miss and Tulsa over 55.
Ole Miss, Tulsa over 50. That's an interesting play. I know nothing about Tulsa. Lane Kiffin might have something here, Gangster Pete. I mean,
yeah,
we know they're good, but they're doing some work.
They've been impressive so far.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. It's on me next. This is obscure. I think they're undervalued. I actually bet them last week. I don't know. Does anybody know the story behind Temple's football team right now? Anybody? I feel like somebody might know. No? All right, fine. Kurt Warner's son has come off the bench, and he has been incredibly effective as the quarterback for the Temple Owls. And they are playing the bucket of shit that is on Missouri's football schedule in 2024 and 2025, a sure buyout from my standpoint. And that is the UMass Minutemen. And Temple is favored by 9.5. G Unit, I am going to buy the half point, -120. And I will have Temple -9 against UMass.
Oh my God.
You got a problem with that, Unit?
I mean, that's even better than yours. I will say that.
Trying to buy that push.
All those 9-point games.
I am going to. What is the final going to have to be? A 27-18.
We got the traffic in the background.
Sounds like someone's backing up the Brinks truck.
Somewhere else.
I got to get back to work, guys.
Yeah. How long does it take to park that thing?
Drive home the narrative. Hey, who's up next?
I guess it was
Gangster Pete.
Pete.
All right.
Is this me? I haven't given my lock yet. Certainly, I'm not behind Gangster Pete.
Certainly, I'm not behind Gangster Pete.
I'm going to go with Mitchell Trubisky tonight under rushing yards 13.5. That's under 13.5 rushing yards, and that's a -115. He's just not as quick as he used to be. He's got 4 total attempts in the first 2 games with a total of 16 yards. And to be honest, Tomlin's not a big running quarterback guy. So it just doesn't fit for old Mitch, under 13.5 rushing yards.
All right.
I kind of started a trend with these props.
I'm telling you, you did.
Can you buy a half there?
Can't hear you.
Can you buy a half there?
I think the price of the half points in the props is different. So, and I don't know what it would be. So I don't want to try and cheat the system.
I think you should do it. Producer Joe?
I am on the first half, -29.5 of Georgia versus Kent State.
Georgia, Kent. What's that number again?
29.5 first half.
29.5. Can you buy a half point?
I'm good at 29.5. Just fine.
I hope you're up by 29. It's going to have to be a real fucked up score for that to be the case. What would that have to be, like 32-3? Something like that?
Yeah, that'd be 4 touchdowns, a field goal, and a safety.
There you go. Anybody else? Gangster Pete? No.
Yeah, I got to go.
All right.
Joe just kind of skipped me.
Yeah, that's because bad hosting on my part.
I'm going head-to-head with Tim on my lock.
Oh, my.
I got this at -1 on DraftKings. I'm taking the Niners -1 at Denver. I think the Niners are a different team with Jimmy G, so I like the Niners to win that game.
I'm confused by the line, so I might be making a really square play on this thing. All right, finally, anybody have I really I don't know. I go back and forth on Missouri and Auburn. Anybody have a strong feeling one way or the other?
It's going to be ugly.
7.5 if you can find it if you're in Missouri.
Take the 7.5, Joe?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
They both suck. We know that.
Right.
I would take an alternate line of like Auburn -20 if you can find it.
Yeah, that's. I was saying. I don't know how to set it on the air. I don't know. I think Missouri either wins or they get blown off the field. That's how I see this thing.
Even watching Auburn get their ass kicked against Penn State, they looked better than us, I thought.
Yeah.
There's no way Missouri wins that game. No, I mean 0% chance in my opinion.
I know that's like what am I? But I just don't want to watch the game and be cheering against Missouri.
Well, you don't need to watch it.
And you know what? Honestly, I got a tea time at 9:00, so I'll just stop by at halftime and see what's doing.
Yeah, I got
I'm
a
not going to waste
7:44.
good weather to stay in for a Missouri game anymore. After the K-State thing, I'm like, fuck that, I'm done.
Yeah, that's a good call.
So I like what you're talking about, the alternate line thing, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get it better than 20. I was exaggerating, but I would consider that.
That's not a bad play, actually. All right, there it is. Pick 6 in the book for week 4 here on the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Thank you to our sponsors, thehomeloanexpert.com, Ryan Kelly, James Carlton at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies, online at evergreenstl.com, Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota, stlouisacura.com, altontoyota.com, and finally, Design Air Heating and Cooling, Seth Goldcamp, online at designairservice.com. For Action Jackson, for Gangster Pete, for producer Joe, for Kenneth Iggy Strode, and for G Unit, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Tim McKernan Show Pick 6 podcast from the HomeLoanExpert.com studio.